Yeah, what up, it's your boy, Revisted! Let's talk about Destiny, shall we? Okay, so from the start, I heard about this game and that Bungie was behind it. Instant interest. Then the alpha came out and I was all over it. As soon as I got the game, I was reminded of the countless hours of fun I had with Halo when I was younger. Mostly because, being in the Sparrow reminded me of being in a Halo match, racing to get in the Banshee or the Ghost. Not to be confused with what's referred to as a Ghost in Destiny though. For those of you who played the beta and not the alpha was essentially just a portion of the first mission of the game only, with no multiplayer. Around the same time we were all getting excited for Destiny, we see absolutely brilliant marketing for this game. We saw reliable as well as up-and-coming sources go on record saying great things about this game like masterful game making. I want to say that this was entirely misleading, but it isn't. Well, not entirely. I'll get into that in a bit. So I actually went out and purchased Destiny on day one. Okay, I attended the midnight release and I was really excited to see what all the hype was about. Did I mention the brilliant marketing? They mentioned this 10-year plan, how it'll be the next big competitive multiplayer game for pro gamers at tournaments and whatnot. So let's get to my personal experience with this game. Initially I started playing it right away, but for some reason I wasn't interested in the multiplayer portion at all right away. This was very strange to me because the multiplayer is what usually draws me into purchasing a game. I consider the replay value before I even buy a game. And I eventually want to become submerged in the online matchmaking. So anyway, I popped the game in, I selected my destination, I replayed the same opening mission I did in the alpha. I played two or more missions, and then I was like, okay, so who am I exactly? Why am I here? And what exactly am I attempting to accomplish? The story just didn't add up from the start, and at that point I was already disappointed because the first few missions weren't even fun or engaging at all. Usually in a game, there's this lengthy cutscene at the beginning where the plot is detailed, there's some sort of explanation, as well as some revelation that gets you somewhat emotionally involved and actually want to dive in and get going and play this game. And this game had none of that. None! I was aware of the strikes being released a few weeks after launch, and there was a lot of talk about that, about how they arguably left out the best aspects of the game at launch. So there was a huge debate about how that would hurt the overall score of this game, and that's very understandable. To be honest, after the third mission or so, I put this game to the side completely. I had just lost interest real quick and I was disappointed and I felt misled. I really felt misled. So fast forward to the present day. I decided to give this game another shot after months of just having it sit there, and to my surprise, I'm enjoying it. Although this is technically an MMO, I refer to it as a shooter anyways. It's a shooter. Also, because there really isn't much of a story, I'm just gonna refer to it as the campaign. Now, the reason I'm enjoying it right now isn't because the campaign became compelling or gained some sort of narrative aspect. I just simply find entertainment in the difficulty of killing these damn aliens. So the trick I've learned is to play every story mission, campaign mission on hard. Not normal, hard! It is just simply become 10 times more enjoyable. If there is one aspect of this game that's never been lacking at all, it's the AI. It has some of the best AI for a game released in 2014, and we all know how hurting of a year 2014 was. I don't need to dive into that topic, we all know how that was. Now, I'm talking about enemies flanking me, relentless onslaught if you remain idle, enemies using a cover system that should have been given to us. Well, I mean, it's just great. The AI is awesome. So, for example, the weaker fallen that run after you as you're trying to hide behind cover to reload, to put some sniper rounds in a hallowed enemy's head. I mean, that was just a great aspect. I mean, you can't beat that in this game. They don't just stand there and it's like target practice. They're really trying to get after you. It is at times so difficult that it's frustrating, but it's the only way I can seem to play this game. Destiny on hard is like how games were way back in the day when you'd be almost finished a level, die, and then have to start all over from the beginning. It almost reminds you of that era before memory cards. Destiny became repetitive after a while because I'd progress through the enemies, deploy the ghost, fight off another onslaught, and repeat. Even when I deploy the ghost, it was just a voice saying nonsense like, "Oh, this is going to take quite some time. Kill these shitheads while I attempt to decrypt, blah, blah, blah." You know, it really did feel like that. It's like, why? For what? It's like a faceless computer saying a few words every time, and there was just no interaction with my warlock that made me feel like I killed these 150 aliens to get to this point for. Like, why did I do all that? The shit just made no sense at all. There's different things you can do in this game, like point, or, you know, if you hit right on the D-pad, you can dance. And there's just no comedic relief in the campaign at all. The only time I probably laughed while playing this game alone and not with friends was laughing at my damn self. I mean, like, if 3 hallowed knights were running after me and I had no sniper bullets, I was out of there. I mean, just click, sprint, I was gone, jumping on top of something. And I was really laughing at myself because it was funny to me. Like, usually when I'm playing a game, a first-person shooter or whatnot, I'm running and gunning, I'm kamikaze, I'm out there with a submachine gun taking heads off. But in this game, I retreated, I ran away a lot, you know, and that was just, I found that funny. It was interesting to me, and it just added to the difficulty that made it fun. Now, I did go to the Crucible and play some online multiplayer for a bit, but it was just so lacking for me. There's other shooters out there that are superior, and I just couldn't get into this one. The customization of the weapons and the currency system is cool, but the online just lacks innovation, especially in the modes available. And for such a highly anticipated title, that doesn't cut it. I mean, why can't I hop in my Sparrow and shoot while driving it? I mean, I know that was something we could do in Halo back in the day. Damn. Visually, the game is tremendous. I mean, the AI is genius, and where this game really shines is playing the campaign on hard, the raids, and the strikes. It is fun strategizing with a fire team of a couple friends, but for the most part, I've been playing this game as if it isn't an MMO, and I've been trying to beat each mission all by myself. Let's be honest here. We know there is more DLC content on the way this spring and even in the fall. But a lot of this content should have been in the game from day one. And it may be too late, as the majority have already lost interest in this game. Not everyone is gonna pick this back up and give it another shot like I did. You know, I mean, people are just gonna be like, all right, you know what? There's so many more other games coming out. I'm not gonna play this no more. I don't have time for it. Overall, this is a good game that has a lot of potential for its upcoming sequel. And I read recently that Destiny's developers have hired John Ryan to work on the story for Destiny 2. Now, this is a great move by Bungie, in my opinion. Mr. Ryan was a writer on Guild Wars 2, and I believe that he has done some media publications like MSNBC as well. So when it comes to putting a story together or anything involving a quality narrative and intriguing dialogue, he's a great lead. I mean, that's a good move. Go Bungie. Let me know what you thought about your experience with Destiny up to this point. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for a whole lot more on the way. Skit it!